Welcome to Developing the Market. Building a successful addressable advertising business demands more than simply enabling the technology. A strategic and impactful market development plan is essential. To reach the success addressability has demonstrated in countries around the world, distributors and content providers must understand the state of the market, willingness to experiment and needs of advertisers and agencies, existing relationships among distributors and content providers, geographic scope of existing services and the coverage of the addressable footprint, and the state of competitive and complementary services. These factors will drive how addressability is introduced, which capabilities are offered, when and how the offering evolves over time, and the degree of success of addressability in the market. By the end of this module, you will be able to identify the ideal characteristics of an early adopter, list the available sales models, identify the factors impacting a preliminary pricing structure, and describe factors to consider when developing an effective addressable sales force. Let's begin by identifying the ideal characteristics that make an advertiser a good candidate for using addressability in a new market. Ideally, the advertiser will have a well-defined target audience identified through available data, demographics, buying history, location, etc. Extensive experience indicates the advertiser's target audience should fall within a specific range to be effective. Experience has shown that a good guideline is an incidence somewhere between 5 and 35%. A lower number makes the target audience too hard to find, and a bigger number makes conventional television more economically attractive. The advertiser should also have a history of running successful traditional TV advertising and/or large internet campaigns, including multimedia campaigns, an understanding of market and advertising techniques, including data analytics, products and services that lend themselves to measurable KPIs and outcomes such as consumer indication of interest or actual sales, and a well-controlled media mix that won't interfere with the success of addressable campaigns. It is also helpful to find early adopters who are well respected in the region and who are willing to participate in new technology and case studies. Nearly all advertisers can benefit from addressable advertising. Even mass marketers like Coca-Cola can profit from targeting different audiences with relevant messages. And nearly all industry verticals can benefit from addressable advertising, including automotive, finance, entertainment, insurance, and consumer packaged goods. While forward-looking advertisers may be more prevalent in certain industries, it's the advertiser's knowledge and attitude that is most important. Some advertisers will be large, multinational brands, and others may be heavy users of digital advertising. Whatever their background, some will simply be quicker to understand and activate the power of addressable advertising on television. These early adopters are crucial to building a fast-growing addressable television business. Once you have identified early adopter advertisers, it's time to work with them to determine the best sales model for the market and their campaign. InVidi provides several sales model options. InVidi Single Advertiser Spot Optimization, SASO, is a deterministic or pre-scheduled sales model that allows a single advertiser to buy a single avail and divide the viewership into segments based on common characteristics that align with a given brand or message. SASO provides an advantage to advertisers who have multiple messages and need to meaningfully differentiate the target audience for each. InVidi Multiple Advertiser Spot Optimization, MASO, is pre-scheduled by the content provider and gives them direct control over where ads are placed. In this sales model, multiple advertisers share a single avail and divide its audience among several brands. This sales model is useful for high-value programs that the content provider wants to treat differently. MASO is also ideal for advertisers who want to reach a moderately sized section of the overall audience but don't have enough brands or messages to warrant the use of SASO. With InVidi aggregation, the system opportunistically delivers impressions to target specific viewers when they are watching TV, regardless of program, time of day, or network watched. The aggregation sales model eliminates the need for predetermined schedules, instead selecting, in real time, ads based on targeting, flight controls, and viewer experience constraints. Content providers can combine audiences across multiple television networks and ad delivery platforms to optimize ad inventory and ad revenue by making traditionally low revenue generating time slots just as valuable as prime time. Zone Target Advertising, ZTA, is a U.S. sales model with a specific set of tools that allows satellite companies and telephone companies to emulate cable zones. With ZTA, advertisers can reach all viewers within a geographic zone irrespective of whether they are cable, telco, or satellite customers. Choosing the right sales model will depend on many factors, including coverage, or the percentage of the footprint that is enabled for addressability, the sophistication of the advertisers and agencies, and the availability of audience data. Another key factor in developing the market is establishing pricing. A few considerations that impact pricing include established norms and business practices, the scarcity or abundance of the target audience, the demand for the target audience, and the pricing of conventional television advertising. Finally, we'll consider how to organize and develop an addressable sales force. Selling addressable advertising is different from selling traditional spots. To plan for the transition, the content provider or distributor will likely need to consider some or all of the following: organizational structure, combining sales, research, and data; market education, creating enthusiasm in the media marketplace; ad sales education and training, adapting to selling media in a new way; communication plans, creating excitement around addressability; and compensation plans, incentivizing the sales organization to produce extraordinary results. Each distributor or content provider will need to assess their customer base, their go-to market strategy, and their existing sales teams and resources. In most cases, adding addressable ad sales will differ from business as usual and should be thoughtfully planned before the service is launched. Addressable advertising has proven to be extraordinarily lucrative for distributors and content providers. Building a successful addressable business, and in particular developing the market, is an evolutionary process and will take time. Our NVIDIA team is here to help. Check out additional training modules for more information.